The Battle of Ontario is going back to the nation's capital as the Senators shut out the Maple Leafs in game number 5. Hey everyone, welcome to Inside the Leafs. Rob Wong, joined alongside by Toronto Sun Maple Leafs writers Terry Koshan and Lance Hornby. And guys, Maple Leafs fans waking up this morning feeling like it's deja vu all over again. The Maple Leafs unable to win a series clinching game. They now move to 1-13 since 2018. We'll start with you, Lance. Do you feel like this could be the same old Leafs, or is there still a reason to believe that there will be a different outcome?
Well, I can understand the trepidation out there. On the other hand, they are up 3-2. It's Ottawa that has to win 2 games, not Toronto. And half the city, if not more, picked the Leafs in about 6 games, and that's what they're poised to do should they win in Ottawa. Certainly, they've made it harder on themselves, and the disappearing act sort of by the certain members of the core four is certainly something to be concerned about. The power play, which has been their biggest weapon down the stretch in regular season, and then got off to such a great start, has stalled again for whatever reason, and not enough pucks on net and all that other kind of thing. But it was kind of they dragged along or dragged down, I should say, the rest of the cast, in that the Leafs were not getting the big game from either the back end or the supporting lines, and had 2 or 3 chances, I thought, to get that first goal, partial breakaways and stuff, and couldn't beat Linus Allmark. And he's getting stronger as the series goes on. Ottawa's belief is getting stronger as the series goes on. So those are concerning things. But again, it's Ottawa that's got to win 2 games, not Toronto. And I still think the Leafs will pull this out, even if it goes to a 7th game back home. I think they will. As long as they stay healthy, they have the better chance, I think, in the long run.
Yeah, like Lance says, it's kind of hard to sit here and pound your fist on the table and say, yes, it's the same old Leafs when they're up 3-2. And I'm one of the people that picked them in 6. When I picked them in 6, I didn't say, okay, well, that's only if they're tied 2-2 after 4 games and then go on to win in 6, or they're down 3-1 and they rally. I mean, you picked them in 6, so that they could very well win in 6 games. You sit here and say, well, it's the same old Leafs. They come out and win tomorrow night. Then, the same old Leafs for 1 game, perhaps. I wouldn't include game 4 in there because it was a lot more tightly contested, obviously. But I think the concerning thing for me is in game 5 is your top players weren't there. And to put a little bow on it, Austin Matthews, terrible giveaway. Not that there are any good ones. On the power play, Adam Gaudette, the Leafs power play Sens go down and score in the 2-0 or 2-on-1, sorry. And it's more or less over at that point in the game in the 3rd period. And, the top line wasn't good in a lot of respects. They did have 11 shots, at least 29. I think a lot of those came on the power play. So they have to be better in all areas, and it starts with them. I don't think there's any doubt about that. But I would caution against saying the same old Leafs here because, if the Leafs wind up losing this series in 7 games, which is a possibility, as it is the Leafs winning in 6 or 7, then we can talk about the same old Leafs because that's what it'll be. But we're not there yet, and like I said, I wouldn't want to sit here and go down too far down that road, and then they win 6 or 7 and they move on and everything's fine. So we'll have to see, but they got to be. They know how much better that they have to be and urgent in game 6 on Thursday in Ottawa.
Well, a lot of questions right now, Terry, about Craig Berube and potential lineup changes for game number 6. We thought maybe there might be a change heading into game number 5. Some people thought maybe Nick Robertson would get in, but now it's a couple of games here for Pacioretty where he hasn't looked the best. Do you feel as though we could see a David Kampf? We could be seeing a Nick Robertson heading into game number 6 against the Sens?
I guess it's possible. I'll be honest with you guys. I wouldn't have taken Nick Robertson out in the first place. I never was one of these people that thought that, a guy who hadn't played since first week of February was really going to come in and make a major impact. And we've seen that he hasn't. There were a lot of hits in the first game. Pacioretty acknowledged himself yesterday that he figured the first couple of, this was before last night, but he figured the first couple of games would go like he thought they did. And they did. The first one out of the gate, he's playing with a lot of adrenaline, and then the second game, the fatigue has caught up to him, and Yankee made he noted the lack of not prep time, but the rest between games and whatever. And how that can impact a guy who's been away for as long as he has. So, they could still win the series with him in the lineup, but, if you put Nick Robertson back in, that as we talked about the other day, maybe you keep your fingers crossed that it follows the Nick Robertson rule, which is to score a goal when you come back into the lineup after sitting out. But, the Leafs overall play a good defensive game, and, you look at it and go, well, is it the defensive responsibility that you're taking a dent to if put Robertson back in? I'm not so sure about that. Undisciplined penalties. A guy named Max Domi took one in a game, and nothing happened with him. So those things can happen. But if you need a little bit of juice, put Robertson back in by all means. David Kampf, maybe the same rule applies where he hasn't played in a while. That would apply to a Pacioretty coming back in. And as far as the goaltending goes, I wouldn't do it. Keep Stolarz in there. I just think that he's not the reason that they lost certainly last night. So keep Stolarz in there, but perhaps get Robertson back in.
I was all for Pacioretty coming in because I thought the series was going to take a nasty turn, and I thought he was the guy best equipped to deal with that. Certainly his playoff experience, and I think he has something like 25 playoff goals. So I was all okay with him coming in, but then you see in Game 5, and there was a lot of it was hustle that led to the Senators to having success, and that's what Nick Robertson brings, if nothing less. And he'll certainly try and throw ahead, even though he'll bounce off some of those bigger Senators. But I would put him in there for the hustle factor. If the Leafs are getting beaten to a lot of pucks, that's an area where Robertson can excel. If he's on the second power play or whatever, or just gets a good chance. I think at this stage he's good enough to score from long range as Pacioretty is in tight, and a lot of Leafs are getting frustrated in there. So that's definitely something I look at. If you get Kampf in there, you get another center, a big guy who can, I thought the Leafs lacked a bit in faceoffs last game, and I think that was reflected a bit. That's probably their slimmest advantage in winning. I think it was 51-49 or something like that. Otherwise, what do you do? I mean, I don't think Riley had a particularly strong game. You're not really going to take him out at this stage. I don't think you're there yet, and I'm with Terry on sticking with Stolarz in net. So outside of one change, maybe to get some attention there, that's what we'll see. I don't think they're going to actually go on the ice today, so probably Coach Berube is going to wait until tomorrow's morning skate or even game time to decide who gets in, if anybody.
Well, yeah, I think he'll make. Yeah, they're off today, and I would be surprised if the decision's made now, and we're not going to know until tomorrow. But like Lance says, I don't think you can make two changes here at forward. You just can't. You're still in the driver's seat here in the series, and you don't want to upset the apple cart, if you will, a little bit too much. But if you're not, changes aren't going to work, or however you want to go that way, you have to implore your guys your top guys to take it up another level. Period.
Oh yeah, you've stuck with these guys for so long. It's a pride factor, right? I mean, Berube's been loyal to them. It's time in a game like Game 6 to repay that loyalty.
Yeah, and you know what? Last thing on this change thing, if there is one made, Nick Robertson could score. Is he going to be the difference maker in the game? I don't think so. Is Max Pacioretty, if he stays in? I don't think so. It's got to be the who's that lead the Leafs to victory in Game 6.
Yeah, absolutely. And as you guys have said, many people have picked this series to go either Game 6 or 7. So sometimes it's not how, it's how many in the end. And the Maple Leafs need just one more victory to close this one out. As always, leave your thoughts in the comments section below. For Lance Horby and Terry Koshan, I'm Rob Wong. Thanks for watching, and we'll talk to you next time.